As people know, I'm Robert Mazin, the founder of 369 Sports and Entertainment. And we do private management for the 1% of the athletes in the world, either the ones with elite talent or the ones with elite support. So we're here to discuss business, to discuss life, and get raw and rigged about everything that it is. This is not going to be your special podcast where we're going to be PC. This is going to be real, and this might, hurt some feelings, but hey, listen, the reality is what it is. Nature favors the strong, not the ones who are right. So at this point, we will figure out a way to make a solution to your problems and explain them. You might have heard, but we're here today with Mr. Mark Cheremeta, who I have to admit, as a South Beach hockey legend, somebody comes in and they're better than me, which hurt my feelings a little bit. But, I have to admit, you're amazing. Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Good to see you today.
Thanks for having me on, man.
So, yeah.
What a great intro.
That was it.
What a snap right into character there.
Straight up and over there.
Yeah.
So we met last year. We skated and we skated
Jeff
at
skate.
Jeff is
Shout out Jeff, man.
shout out to Jeff.
Goated.
Jeff Humphrey. Jeff
Get
is
better. Feel better, Jeff.
Yeah,
Feel
definitely. Jeff is a South Beach hockey legend. He's one of the tallest goalies we've seen, and he has this unique ability to gather a lot of talent into one hockey thing. Well, he's very eccentric and charismatic. Let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. And Jeff invited, let's say, Mark. Mark is a USA Chill draft. Mark, you play D1 college hockey, which nowadays is like making an NHL.
Yeah.
And you're a professional hockey player, and he's also an influencer with his own channel and his talents. So
I hate the idea of being an influencer, by the way.
well,
I hate that idea.
Sort
You
of
know
with
what I
that Rolly and that gold chain and that Mercedes S63.
Listen, man, I'm not trying to LARP like crazy, but
it's good. It's get it done.
you have dreams as a kid, and then you make money and you help a lot of people and you get higher in your career and like you buy all these things, but the worst thing I've learned is like attaching your worth to these things. Like I used to think like, oh, the number in my bank account or the car that I drive or the team that I play on, that's attached to my worth.
Right.
But my worth is infinite from God. Like I'm a child of God. Like I'm
100%.
My identity.
Obviously.
You're
You're Muslim, right?
No.
Yeah.
But dude, Muslim people pray like 5 times. How many times a day they pray?
5 times a day.
Bro, that's like
They're
people
devoted.
should do that though.
They're devoted.
People should pray 5, but like they do it like they forget everything that they're doing.
They don't care.
And then they go on their knees and they're praying and they're giving they're giving themselves to God, which I respect. I respect every religion because not just Christianity. Like I think I wouldn't consider myself Christian, right? But I think like reading the Bible, like I'm leaning towards that side because the story of Jesus, but there's a lot of stories of that type of archetype character.
Right.
But it's all God, man. Your worth is in God because other than that, like you're gonna go up and down in life.
And God wants you to be an influencer, man.
He wants me to spread messages. For
exactly
sure.
what
I'm just a vessel. I'm nothing.
100%.
I'm fucking
Same
nothing.
We're
man.
here. Exactly. In front of God, we're all children of God, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Things happen magically because it's funny. I told you the other day.
Yes.
We met at the again. The point I'm making is the fact that South Beach is, again, California is good, but who would have think that Florida has the highest level of concentrated hockey players, ex-hockey players, college players? Like hockey is amazing here. Exactly if you call it the so-called beer league. So I met Mark last year, and of course, blew me away with the shot, with everything else, and the charisma. Like, hey, that's why I started shooting pucks during the season. But other than that, Mark, basically, last week I saw a video of you, came in my feed all of a sudden, and I saw it like, wait a minute, where do I know this guy from? And then we go on the skate on Friday in Miami Beach, and I'm like, hey, let's get on a show here, and let's do it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, literally 3 days before, I was like, I need to find somebody to get on a podcast because I enjoyed it so much, getting in the flow of things.
Oh, yeah. I know you are, again, props to you. You made USHL. You
drafted 3 times, bro. I got drafted 3 times in USHL. I don't even know if that's allowed, but like drafted 3 times.
I mean, hey, it happens.
I don't know how it happened. Muskegon when I was 16, out of like a regular.
Dubuque, right?
Yeah, and then when I went to, fuck, how did it happen? Somehow I got my rights. I got cut by Muskegon, right? Like after going to NHL camp. Go to NHL camp.
Where did you go to NHL camp?
Florida. Panthers.
Wow.
So
when was this?
Like a hometown, like my draft year, like 2017.
2017.
Something like that. I get called up to Muskegon at that season.
Yeah.
Right, playing with Svechnikov. He just won the cup. Playing with
Shout out.
Svechnikov. Yeah, shout out Svech.
Shut up. But you were better back then.
No.
No?
No, maybe in my mind for
You
the
gotta
first.
love
It
it.
might, dude. Honestly, props to that guy because I was going into the USHL like
Yeah.
super high ego after the NCDC or Premier was back then,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I'm gonna shred this. I'm gonna shred this league. And I my first shift was 1:15 seconds. I remember my first shift in the USHL against Tri-City was 1:15 seconds. I didn't give a fuck. And I
Straight up.
ripped a good mid-ranger, hit crossbar. And I was like, oh my God. If that went in, I'm fucking bawling.
That's it.
Right. And then
That's
I
it.
had like a fucking dog water game. I remember my dad just.
Real.
That game, it was because it's such a big jump, Premier,
Right.
USP, Premier to USHL.
Right.
Svechnikov was on that team. And bro, the guy was just elite. He was a pro, and he would he was so built back then. I don't even know how, bro, but dude, he would just execute. He would execute like 2-on-1s. He's the great finisher, and I played like 3 games. Got a tuck. I got a tuck in the first. That was
Ooh,
big.
I like that. I like
Needed
that.
that tuck.
So basically, you said your family won the green card when you were how 1 years old.
Came over.
So
America.
2000, right?
Yeah, came
Pavel
over.
Bure was the star back then.
Mm-hmm.
Pavel Bure. Your dad probably loves Pavel Bure because
Yeah, he glazes him all the
me
time.
too. For me, it's my all-time favorite player.
But he's the best. He's so rock star though. He's like the Jordan of like hockey.
Oh,
in
he
my
was
opinion.
that guy. He was that guy. But I like most of these guys. They're not necessarily maybe take care of their bodies as they're supposed to be. But he was one of those guys. The impact was, of course. If you look down right now, Ovechkin is probably becoming better. People know it. But back then, he gave that Russian superstar. He was the
He drove the white Rari, the
Remember-
white Ferrari, bro. That's rock star. Like you can't just drive a white Ferrari, bro.
back then it was
In
real.
South Beach, bro.
Back
Like,
then it was real. Back then it was like, hey, it's
Bro.
either you drive like an old Suburban or you drive Ferraris.
dude, that guy probably was like doing absurd things in South Florida, and he was scoring 50 goals,
He
man.
was scoring Anna Kournikova too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Wait, what happened there with There was something with Bruno Mars.
No, Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique.
Bruno Mars was probably not born today, but yeah, I knew it was. But so basically, what
It's
happened?
going away from topic.
So
but-
again, hey, listen, this is good. I like that. This is why we're real. This is happening. Once
Yeah.
again. So basically, what happens is this: you come here, because Florida hockey is like,
Dog water.
yo. So how did you start? You grew up here. You start from there.
Yeah, my dad, bro. Yeah, he played in Magnitogorsk in Russia, bro.
Magnitogorsk. That's
Bro,
where.
he's
That's
from,
where.
like,
That's where Malkin is from.
Yes, Steel Town.
Yeah.
So he had a tough childhood.
I know. That's when you go in the winter and on a sunny day you can see the purple air.
I guess.
You see the purple clouds in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The air quality is
He
negative.
never
60.
talked about it though. He never talked about He just said it was fucking shitty, bro.
Well,
Just like
once
hard.
you live in Miami, then yeah, everything is like that. I know what you mean. So,
Yeah.
so you started playing hockey when?
When I was like 2, bro, like 2, 3.
So you started playing with the Panthers. Where'd you start playing here?
Yeah, Panthers. Like I did the Panthers stuff, and then eventually did like AAA, and then then went back to single A because it was just like
Right.
that's what you should do. Just rip up, where you're at now.
Right.
Don't be going to AAA and thinking about status and all that shit.
And
Like,
we'll get back to that. This is exactly what I want to talk about today. But first, let's focus on you right now, sir.
you want me to focus?
I'm fucking focused on you. So let's just say this: when did you leave? Because the only way. By the way, that guy from Carolina, maybe you know him. Who was his last name? The first guy from Florida.
Gossesbear?
Yeah.
My dad trained him. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he's one of those Florida boys, and I know Florida guys as well. But the key is same thing in Latvia and where I'm from. It's like guys who make it. There's a certain stage where you have to leave, or you're gonna have to end up
Yeah.
with the rest of the population. So when did you leave?
I left late. Everybody else was leaving at like 14 to prep school.
Yeah.
And, we were like, I'm not ready for that shit. I'm not ready to leave home. I was still like bro, I hit like puberty at like 18. And I was such a late bloomer, which is good and bad. I think it's good. But yeah, 17. After 17, I left.
17. That's it.
Yeah.
So you went to play USPHL, NCDC. Where'd you go?
Bro, yeah, I went I had like this whole crazy brain bleed thing. I got a puck to the head, brain bleed. And then, I couldn't speak Russian. Forgot to speak Russian and shit. It was crazy. Yeah, puck to the head, and then I had a seizure like a week later. That's a whole thing. And then basically I was forced to play. I was supposed to go to Honey Baked, but then instead I was like
U18, 16s?
16s, yeah,
16s,
16
okay.
AAA with Larionov.
Wow.
I was hooked up with Larry Onf at the time. He was like kind of my agent, right? I don't know how we found him, but he was helping us out. I went to like Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights, played with them like a couple tournament teams.
Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. Played with them like 2 weekends.
Tom Colville was there probably.
I don't remember that shit at all.
Remember
Bro.
that guy.
I was just scared.
Yeah? Why was you scared?
Bro, I was scared just to like, bro, there's all these like bigger guys and stuff like that, but like I still got a couple apples and left.
So now you go through that. Now tell me again.
I was forced to go tier 3 junior. I basically was just like, oh, like I can't play hockey. I just had a fucking seizure. You know, like oh, tier 3 is here down here. My dad's friend was like coaching, and he's like, yeah, come practice with us. And I ended up playing that year. I ended up jumping up.
But still, to make the USHL and still make, where'd you play at college?
I played at BU, always Boston University, Ohio State, and Sacred Heart.
But you do realize, for the people that don't know, to come out of Florida, that's like the statistics. You're probably the first guy that ever did it.
No, there's other guys like who were above me, like Brandon Duhaime, Andrew Peak. Those guys playing the show, obviously.
Yeah, but they were from Florida?
They were from Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just a very rare breed that comes out. There are good players that come out of Florida, like especially the Tampa area. What's his name? He played on the Scorpions. Forget his name.
Who's Scorpions?
The Scorpions in Tampa. It's a team. It's like really good. All those guys were roller guys, and we grew up playing against. They were all nasty.
Right.
Yeah, so we play against them, but a couple guys went D1 there. One guy to Mankato. But I mean, like, it doesn't really matter like what the route is. Everybody wants to hear the route. I feel like it really is like the mindset to like, you know, like how do you stand out? How do you jump up every single level? I feel like that's what everybody always like talks about, but everybody's asking about, whoa, what was your story? What was your story? But like, you know, the mindset, in my opinion, was the most important thing, because I was never the most conditioned. I was never the fastest. I didn't have the best shot.
Maybe the fucking puck to the face.
Yeah, like
change who you are.
It did. Well, it detached me from everything.
Oh wow.
It detached me from hockey. It detached me from like putting, like we talked about before. It detached me from putting my worth into a game, right? Which later on, obviously, as I got to the USHL very quickly in 2 years, like now it's like, oh fuck, like I'm here.
Right.
Like I'm actually gonna go play D1 if I just keep doing well. Then you reattach your identity to that game, which is like a big no-no, right? That's where 95% of all people's issues with validation, power issue, like every single possible insecurity lies because you're putting your worth into something external in the 3D material world.
That's a beautiful thing. Now repeat that again for the people who didn't hear that.
95% of all people's problems, all insecurities, all issues stems from putting your worth to something in the 3D material world, which is basically your flesh.
Yeah, very. This is something about
this reality is not real. Like we don't live in a. Not many people talk about this stuff.
This is why all the suffering happens as well.
Yeah, you suffer because there's so many reasons for suffering. Number one is attachment.
Right.
That's the biggest one, and we could talk about all day. But like suffering is because people don't know the system of how to deal with their psyche. Right? We talk about it's only mental, but no, there's the nervous system. There's the subconscious mind. There's the heart. There's a brain actually inside of your heart. You know what I mean? There's actually studies, this is science, like there's an actual heart, there's a brain in your heart, and it's actually connected to your brainstem to your brain. So people think like, like feeling emotions in your mind and thinking they think it's separate, right? But everything is connected, right? People don't know this shit. This is the stuff I've been studying for like 3, 4, 5 years, because at the end of the day, it's like you get to such a high level and you think you're going to play in a specific league like the NHL,
right?
And then everything falls apart. And why does it fall apart? Because it's always internal. It has nothing to do with you not being good enough or this or that or your skills. It's internal, because this entire game of life we play is a spiritual game. It has nothing to do with the actual stuff you do, the job you work at, the team you play on. Like, this is a journey of the soul.
Correct.
Right. And hockey is a great sport, in my opinion, because it pushes your soul and yourself to the brink, so you're forced to change.
Right.
That's why the higher you get in hockey, the better the people are. The lower you're playing hockey, the shittier the people are. The shittier the coaches, the shittier the players, the shittier the hazing. Right? You get to higher levels, everyone's like, hey, how can I help you? Oh, hey, buddy, come on, like we'll get to
100%,
this person, you know.
And you made a beautiful point. This goes out to every single sport. You just made it. You just such a beautiful way to explain that, because since you just probably went through that trauma, but to go through the situation where you realize as people grow, it's almost like this in a way where, you know, we almost like, if I may say, we were all born slaves in this realm. And in a way, hate to say it, but in a way, to get the freedom, there's also a, you know, a currency involvement for you to be free in a way, because again, this world makes you the way you are. And what you just said about the NHL, 100%, because there's so many guys, and let's be rigid or raw right now. You see these people who are, let's say, at 14, 12, everybody's happy. Everybody's the same. At 16, all of a sudden,
Something changes.
Somebody's better. Now 8, and then again, the ones who play U16, all of a sudden, the best guys all of a sudden get drafted in the USHL.
Yeah.
They get drafted in the USHL, and they go on.
But what happens? Ego inflates, right? Which is basically what all we have at that age. At that age, bro, like nobody is that like self-aware.
Correct.
You're just living in your fucking ego. You're living, I'm Tom. I'm fucking elite at hockey. I got drafted in the USHL. I have nasty release. I'm going D1.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is my entire life,
Yep,
right?
yep.
But what happens when,
There's other guys like you.
yeah, there's other guys. Now there's pressure. Now there's
yeah.
fear.
Oh,
Now things get really fucking serious.
Oh yeah.
Like really serious. And now like your life is depending on. Now you're having breakdowns every 2
You
weeks.
never experienced this kind of shit in your life.
No.
That's why some guys who are like so good at home, they come here and they see, and not everybody can adapt. And I've noticed this a lot. For some guys, just even standing, and this is hockey is one thing, but also let's say I work with boxers, as you're aware. Boxing is the same way. It could actually, one knockdown can destroy your career. Knockout, you can be gone forever. One knockout, that's it. You're never gonna be the same because you have that ego which you talked about. All of a sudden now, hey, now you just lost your ability, that natural state of flow, because you just experienced that thing. So you being so knowledgeable, tell me how this knowledge, because again, as we know, again, we've both been. You're a current professional. I'm an ex-professional. As you know that, you know, most athletes are not really, bright unless you throw a lamp at them. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And this is how very interesting how you are one of these people that I met, that you are capable of observing, taking the step over a little bit of, that taking the look in the rear mirror. So now that you have been through this journey yourself and you're still on it, tell me about your company and how you help young athletes, specifically hockey players, to overcome this by giving like examples. Let's say, as you know, we are a private management platform for young athletes. We have a lot of hockey players, we have NC guys, we have junior guys, and we met, and since we're gonna have a beautiful collaboration, like tell me what it is that we can offer to the clientele, and how you are a specific let's how can it help our players?
Well, that's a broad question right there, right?
Yeah,
so
but you're capable of that.
Yeah, we can dive into it.
Anybody with Yankees hat and Jesus Christ cross can answer that.
We could talk about it for an hour. I would say the first thing I'm going to say is I always wondered in my life, not only in hockey but in school, I always wondered why when something happens and the teacher raises why when you get to class,
right,
and you were supposed to read chapter 2 of your book, right, for school.
Right.
I don't know how school was in Latvia, but
there was no school, just army.
But you're supposed to read your fucking homework, right? And obviously hockey players, right? We're at hockey during the weekend. We ain't doing any fucking homework, right? I feel like, dude, if you actually, first of all, if you think you're a hockey player actually doing school in college, like give me a break. Like no actually elite hockey players doing hockey in school. You are getting by, you are finessing, you are doing everything you can because you realize, like, that goes again, like, your worth is in hockey. You're putting everything into hockey,
right.
Because you also realize, like, the school system is, like, absolutely garbage, right? For most 90% of colleges, it's absolute crap. You go to, like, a Harvard, like, my dream was Harvard, right? Why didn't I go to Harvard? Well, I really wanted to go to fucking Harvard. Right. And when you really want something in life, it doesn't really happen. So going back to my analogy of, like, why when you come to school, class, you didn't read your homework? And internally, you're wondering, you're stressing. You're like, fuck, like, don't call me. Teachers going around asking questions. Hey, did you do this? Ask about this, ask about that. and you're like, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. And what happens?
Right.
What happens? She calls on you. Almost 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, she calls on you. What happens on the ice? You're out of flow state and you're worrying you haven't been on the ice in 6 fucking minutes as a forward. Or a D-man, you've been kind of benched a little bit.
You just lost that.
And you're wondering, and in the back of your mind,
Yeah.
fuck, I hope there's not a penalty coming up.
Yep.
Because that's going to really fuck my ice time.
Now you're going to be 10 minutes late.
Now what happens?
Yes.
Penalty happens. How is a penalty manifesting based off of my fear? Like, seriously, how is that actually happening? So I was just like, I could not, for the life of me, there's certain years in my career, second year at Ohio State, part of the year at Sacred Heart, even like parts of pro as I was figuring it out. Why, when I think bad thought and I feel it in my heart and I'm actually fearful,
Right.
why does it fucking happen? How? Like, can somebody explain that? And I was researching. I was going crazy. I was like, listen, I'm starting to realize, I'm awakening. Like, oh my God, I have these fears. Because the issue at hand is 95% of the population. I would say 99% of the population. Like you said, hockey players, most of them, not the brightest.
Not even aware of this.
You're not aware of what's going on through your head.
Like,
if you're not aware of every single one of them, and you're not delegating, you're not freaking putting that one in the garbage, putting this one in this bin, putting that one in that bin. If you're not dealing with all these thoughts, you're cooked because you don't actually know what's going on in the background. And then what happens? Game time happens.
Right.
You get punched. That boxer gets knocked down. You get a penalty. Something happens.
Correct.
You come crashing down.
So now, again, what you just said, how much of this thing that you have discovered you would allocate to the subconscious?
Well, it's 95%.
Right,
95%.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Correct.
Everything is the subconscious is 95% of everything. It's dealing with your habits, you're confident, you're trusting.
So you condition the players to be in that state.
We're going internal in the inner workings, right? The actual wiring of every single player. A player can come to me with so many issues.
Right.
Most of them are all the same. I have a fear of making a mistake. I have a fear of getting yelled at by my coach. I have a fear of not making it.
Same thing again. And exactly, or the players you play with. Have you ever had that thing when you you can give that sauce 90% of the time, but then all of a sudden you play with somebody who you adore and you can't fucking you just can't pass it. Just like, God, I just fuck it up.
Or if a scout's in the building, right?
Scouts,
Or I agree with both. I've had that. I honestly had that 2 years ago. Still, I had that. I was like, bro, there was this AHL or East Coast scout coming to watch us in a 3-on-3 league, and I really was I got I had an injury at the end of my first year of pro East Coast, and I went home. I had a torn labrum. That was a whole other thing. The East Coast is just treacherous. It's a good league, right? But it's you are treated terribly, right?
Well, compared to what?
Compared to D1.
Compared to D1.
D1 is that's why if you go D1, that is the tip of the top you'll probably ever feel in terms of feeling like a pro.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. And this is why I believe nowadays, I guess the kid for the goal, the dream for the kids needs to be, first of all, let's be real. All this that we're here today because we are all dependent on that system that was based on that illusion of NHL. Every kid is little. What do you want to play? AHL. Nobody ever fucking wants to say that.
No.
But the key is, again, nowadays, let's say we have clients that show up at 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm like, gentlemen, let's be real. Hockey, even if you were, we played World Juniors in 2010. We played against Nikita Filatov. Remember that guy?
I remember that guy, yeah.
Number 1 draft pick in 2008 draft, I believe, or 9. And he was drafted by Columbus. Nowadays, I believe he's a realtor in Moscow, right? And again, all power to him. But there's not a single, Alexander Daigle. Remember Alexander Daigle?
Daigle, yeah. What happened with him? Was he a bust or something?
He was number 1 in 1995, and they praised him Jesus Christ again. But the problem is this. There's not a single precursor that made it. There's so many people who never made the show who become stars. So nowadays, again, NHL is, you could be playing first-line Russian national team. You can be playing, Florida Alliance. You can be playing for the BU, but there's not a single factor that say, oh, we're going to be NHL guys. I have 2 types of clients, and you probably met them too. First, the ones that are always going to be like, hey, let's say this. I had a first guy from Kazakhstan when I was coaching there, and we had the first guy ever drafted in the USHL, which was a big deal back then. And his mom was straight up. He was like, hey, he finished 8 or 9 grades. He's like, hey, he doesn't need school. He's going to play in the NHL, baby. And then what happens is nothing happens. And he ends up playing in Kazakhstan National Championship, right? But if you are somebody who's coming to you and telling you you're going to be making the NHL, then it's straight up lies. And I think
dude, people do that.
People still do.
Are
that.
people like are advisors doing that shit?
Not even advisors. Of course, there's definitely some high-level advisors that definitely encourage that. But there's also people like the parents. We talk about the parents. The parents are the ones who believe that, hey, he's going to play in NHL. And I had a gentleman, let's say, remember a couple of years ago, there's one gentleman from Latvia. And, I've been in the business for a couple of years now. After I finished career, I got into the basic advisory, which turned into the more professional aspects and more variety. But he was like, hey, Robert, what can you offer us? Because, back then he said there was a very popular agent in the 90s, Paul Theophanis. Remember you heard of him? He used to draft. He had the most NHL Russians. And
really?
He had like Latvians, Sandis Ozolin, Artur Serbe was with him. And he's like, oh, yeah. Paul is offering me something. Paul was popular. He said there's a Nylander's father. There's some Latvian agents. Like, what can you offer us? What can you offer us? And I'm like, hey,
what can you do for me,
brother? Let's do this. He's 12 years old now. Let's talk when he's 15. Let's talk when he sees his first porn. Let's talk when he sees his first drink. Let's see when he sees his first boys smoking joints. Let's see what happens when he gets his first Xbox subscription. You know what I'm talking about. Where I'm going with this is the fact that these people put so much pressure that they're going to make it. And now we go through all these notions where we understand that these people in general, again, the real test is the puberty. And now guys like you who go through all this, it's a very interesting story what you said about your trauma and how that could probably be the biggest
No,
thing.
that was the biggest blessing
100%,
for me.
100%.
It was the biggest blessing.
100%. It's like the movie shit right there, right?
Yeah, bro.
And now you made it to D1, and I believe guys need to focus on making it to the college. And when you focus getting to the college, that's a real deal. That's something that you can attain. That's something that is 1% nowadays make D1.
So hard.
100%. And now that you...
But people aren't like they're just taking into account the physical and like maybe a little bit of mental training and like...
Oh, yeah.
But and then who knows, like in America, like, there's the faith component is not that high, right? People talk about, because there's 3 levels, right? There's physical, mental, spiritual, right? 3 dimensions, right?
Explain the difference to people between mental and spiritual.
Mental is all in your mind, right? Mental is like the thoughts that come into your mind, what you're thinking on a day-to-day basis, like how you're programming yourself, like what time, you like that, the chatter in your head, which a lot of people have, they think it's normal thoughts, right? Spiritual, right, I would say is more from the heart, right? Because everything in Psalms, right, everything flows through the heart. You meditate through the heart, as it says in Psalms. So, which is what I teach. That's the system I follow, is meditation through the heart, because that calms you down. That also calms your nervous system down when you're doing that through your heart. People are always here, right? Why can't we just bring ourselves down here? But I could say this all along. Like, somebody could be watching this. They'll forget about it tomorrow about like, oh, I can live in my heart. I don't have to live in my head. Yeah, motherfucker. Like, you can.
Yeah, but then again, the balance is the key word, how you do it.
Right. How you do it, that's the whole system. That's the whole idea. Like, people ask, how do you find peace or freedom on the ice or flow state?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's not just, hey, let's work on self-talk, or how sports like say, oh, we'll do this technique, and, we'll change this up. Here's your routine. Like, I was talking to an AHL guy the other day, and this guy was struggling. This guy was really struggling.
Current AHL player.
Okay. He was struggling.
Yeah.
And he got sent down to the coast. And basically, he was working with the NHL level sports psychologist. He was struggling. The sports psych was telling him to do some sort of concentration grids for a fear problem. Like, he had a fear. He couldn't get into flow state. He couldn't lock in. He was like playing 14 minutes a night, struggling to find that flow. Sports psych was like, hey, do some concentration grids, which, if people don't know, it's a thing for like 10-year-olds to bring up their focus. It's a really good exercise, don't get me wrong. Like, concentration grids are great for focus, but like to tell an NHL prospect or AHL prospect to do that, right? When he has a problem that goes down deeper, core to the root of his issues, right? I think that's a little bit whack. So I guess the difference between mental and spiritual, there's a big difference.
Right.
There's a big difference, and you need all three. Like, it's like when people say, like, play with your heart. You know, like, what the fuck does that mean?
Correct.
You know, like, how big is your heart, right? How strong is your heart? How much passion and resilience does a player have? So you got to train everything, right? And especially now, like you say, 1%. I would say probably even less, no?
1% is the new stats now that the new thing came in with the Canadians.
With the Canadians,
It used to be like guys from the NAL or BCHL. They're like, oh, yeah, we got a good chance, right?
Bro, if you're playing in the NAL right now, the NAL is trash. I will stand by this. The NAL is fucking trash. I'm standing by it. I don't give a shit. It's made, I mean, there is good teams like Maryland, right? Shout out Harrison Smith, you know, ripped up listen, Harrison Smith ripped up the fucking NAL. 100 points. This guy is by far the best player. You know what Sacred Heart does? Sacred Heart says, nah, you can't come in next year. Like, what? What do you mean you can't come in? The guy just put up 100. He's gonna shred your team, and you go and you don't take him in. He's gonna talk, bro. He's gonna. Someone else is gonna grab him for sure.
I had one kid from the NAL right now commit to Lake Superior this year, and the same thing again. They need to play 1 year in the Major Junior.
Right. So fuck the NAL. Like everybody, I don't know why all these kids playing AAA or lower level juniors, they're also programmed to be like, oh, let's go to the NAL. It's the next stepping step. Because it's the easiest way in their minds to go D1. They're just like, oh, I got to play in the NAL, and then I can get a D1 commitment.
Listen, everything changed. With even guys with BCHL. Right nowadays, we have kids that play BCHL, and you know, right now with the new amplitude, and let's be real, now there's 26 players playing D1. It used to be 35, 38-man roster, right? And now, again.
Now it's 26?
It's 26 guys. Yeah.
Bro, are you serious?
26
I remember some teams back in the day, we had like 32 guys.
38 guys, too.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, Anthony Noreen, he's the head coach of Miami University, Ohio. And he's the same thing. He comes in, and now the new reel comes in. They used to have so many guys. And there's teams that respect the current scholarship, and there's teams that are like, hey, we don't care.
There's teams finding East Coast guys right now, bro.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. But I guess today what I want to talk about more is the fact that, you know, first of all, I'm very impressed what came out of your mouth regarding the actual subconscious training, and this is something that we will make we'll make sure that my clients get acquainted to, because I believe there's so much of this stuff that, you know, there's also the good old Russian way. There's two things. You couldn't score 5 games. Option number 1, go to the bathroom, piss on your hands. And the second of all,
what's that, bro? What? I never fucking heard of that.
Our coach always said, listen, you can't fucking score, go to the bathroom, piss on your hands, and come back.
What does that do?
Well, it's called spirituality. And the second thing is you get wasted, like the old school.
Oh, yeah. You know, that does help at
but
times.
that's the, you know, that's the hard reset. You know, it's like, you know, back in the day, your laptop didn't start, you just, or PS2, you had to do the hard reset.
Hard reset, yeah.
Then it might come back, but what you do is the new attitude. No, this is what it is.
Hard reset.
No, but this is why we need.
But I'm real though. Like, listen, I don't like. I'm not a fan of drinking. Like, I've done it.
You don't drink at all.
I don't drink right
That's
now. No,
beautiful.
No, I haven't drank like this whole base year.
This is something you guys need to understand. Listen again. If you are back in the day, I'll tell you this. You were probably not born, but let's say when I was little. Typical NHL camp consisted of what? Guys play, let's say the teams who didn't make playoffs. They come back home, they maybe play World Championships in April, right? Team Belarus, Team Vlad, and then they actually, you know, hey, let's just say this. Or they play the NHL Finals. But let's say we have a Latvian individual, I'm not going to name his name. He's probably the most legendary Latvian player. He had this routine when I was little that, hey, he comes back home. He signed a fresh $25 million contract. And these guys used to do 3 months straight. 3 months straight of, hey, everything that comes to your mind, you can do it. And then in September, they go to the camp, get in shape, and they go. And nowadays, hey, I remember in 2014 when Curtis Brown was the captain of the Los Angeles Kings. 2014 when they won. 2014, I believe, yeah. My friend Jamie Compan, he was the coach back then. And you know Jamie, right? He was skated with us here. Jamie Compan, he's the assistant coach for Florida Panthers right now.
No, I don't remember.
One of the most legendary. You've played it. I think, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're trying to do Michigan on him.
He's a goalie?
No, he's a player.
Oh.
Yeah. But the key is back in the day, in 2014, I saw that they won the cup, and right next day from after winning the cup, like I think they won the cup on Thursday, something like that, right? Again, could be wrong, but these guys started next season, like right next week.
That's the Kovalev mindset.
That's the mindset of Koval. I didn't know about Kovalev, but there's so many guys that like, hey, I play in the KHL, hey, I can take 3 months off, I made it, There's, what I'm talking about. And this is the old school mindset. So guys like you come in, the young bloods. You play right now in Belarus right now, and you know how many guys drink. They go to sauna, they do all that.
Sauna, yeah.
100%.
It's like it's part of the culture,
It's
right?
part of the culture, and this is why, again, most Russian players, Bure, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree in a way, right? So all these guys, why Russians are so good, the Eastern Europeans, they're such superstars, is they put so much work in, the natural talents. And then all of a sudden, what happens is, hey, the body's like a race car, it just breaks down because the inflammation, the alcohol, the recovery, they're not
compound
the same.
interest.
Correct. Compound perfect way.
But the wrong interest, right?
100%. They're not the same anymore. And that's why how many, you can actually see, let's just focus on the Russians as them being the NHL stars, right? How many of these guys, other than the fucking freak of nature, Alex Ovechkin, right? How many guys play? Bure played 33. Federer played 35, 36, I believe. Kovalchuk, but they all had this one thing in common where they're
workhorses.
They're workhorses, but you got to choose. You can't drink. And the thing is this, guys who drink, they can live to 100 years. And guys who don't drink live to 100 years. But I've noticed is this, the guys who do both, they don't make it to 100 years,
No,
That's the key.
There's too much stress.
Too much stress on your body. So now you come in, let's say you don't drink. How do you, let's say, for instance, I remember.
But there's a balance in everything. I'm not saying I'm the one.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, sir.
Okay.
So nowadays, how are you with, let's say you all know the same thing. Well, you just had a hot season start. You made it the first line, right? Things
Things
you
are
shoot,
flowing.
comes in front of the net. I always was the guy who were like, hey, I sometimes had the ability to play against players, right? I was always dump and chase guy, right? I was always the guy who were like, hey, go do that. I'm like, hey, sir, let's do it. And you go in and you play with these guys, and everything happens. And all of a sudden, like you said, you don't play 6-8 minutes, and all of a sudden, like, oh my God, even right now, let's be real. If I play 2-3 times like a week for 2-3 weeks, I play, and then guys like you return from the season, I don't feel so shitty about myself. Like I'm like, hey, you saw me, we played, we did. But if I don't skate for 2 weeks and then I show up, like I can't do shit. It's in your head. So what do you recommend for the boys? How do you get over that basic thing? I can't score. What's happening?
What age group?
Let's say this. We focus on the guys 16 to 20 years old.
I think the 15 to 18. Yeah. Like if you're 14 to 18 right now, like you should be investing in some sort of mental reprogramming. Because if you can have a 4-year base, like think about 15 to 19 or 14 to 18, if you can have those years, just lock the fuck down. Like confident, like you're good, you're not going up, you're not going down, you're obviously dealing with adversity. But if you can lock that in, bro, you're good the rest of your life. Like you're good because the second you have one bad year and that goes into 2 bad years, you're cooked. Like you are actually cooked. And the guys that sometimes come with me, they come to me at the beginning, like when I first started this, they came to me at the bottom of the bottom, the rock bottom. Man, I just fucked up last season. I didn't know what happened, and now it's bleeding into this season. And I'm like, yeah, man, like you should have reached out a year ago. But then it goes back to the issue of the guys who are already good. The 16, 17, 18-year-olds who think they're going to play in this show, they're good. They're not dealing with like crazy fear problems. They're not dealing with crazy confidence problems.
Correct.
So they're thinking, I'm good. But no, bro, because 20 hits or 21 hits or 17 hits and you have an adversity, and like we said, everything falls down, what are you going to do then? Like it took me 2-3 years to rebuild what I lost when I was 22. Like I lost myself at 22.
At college, right?
In college, at Ohio State. I lost myself.
You didn't have a lot of game time, right?
Huh?
You didn't have a lot of game time, right?
No, it was just a combination of so many factors in my life. It was divine. It was like God showing me like, hey, bro, like something needs to change because you've been playing off of fear your whole life. Like, I just watched that Rafa Nadal documentary. I don't know. Have you watched it?
I haven't seen it.
Dude, Rafa Nadal, like 22 Grand Slams, like one of the best in the world.
Right.
The guy left the game because he was done suffering. That's if you watch the documentary, the whole ending of that documentary is this guy stopped playing because he was done suffering. How fucked up is that? Actually,
still the second greatest.
Yeah, but like, how fucked up is that? That guy played the sport that he loved, but he stopped playing because he was done suffering.
By suffering, you mean?
Bro, he was like, internally, he was like, the way he was playing, it was suffering. Even when he got older, the older he got, the worse his self-talk got. Like, his self-talk was terrible to himself because his body wasn't giving him what he wanted, right? So he was getting so hard on himself, so down on himself. Eventually, that caused a lot of suffering, right? But his whole thing was like, he had a lot of fear and suffering, and so did I, so did you, right? That's like the old culture. But I just don't think that's the way to go at it anymore. Like, I think you have to sacrifice.
Right.
You have to go through pain. You have to sacrifice going out. You have to sacrifice girls. You have to sacrifice drinking at that young age, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you shouldn't be going to a certain level. Like, I got to a certain level through flow state, through talent, but also through fear. Like, fuck, if I don't make it to this level, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Right.
What the fuck am I gonna do if I don't make it? So I got it off fear, but then everything came crumbling down, right, at a certain point. So when I lost myself, right, it took me fucking 3 good years of reprogramming to get myself back to like being fully secure, fully knowing who I am, and still figuring out truly like who I am in my heart, right? So these cats at 16, 17, 18, man, like you don't know like how deep the game goes. You don't know how deep the rabbit hole actually goes.
Correct.
And they don't work on it because their egos are here, right? The guys who come to me, right, and every single guy, every guy who's drafted, every guy who's in the NHL, they have their own guy. I know this for a fact. I was talking to an assistant GM in the NHL, and he was saying every guy, Davo, Draisaitl, fucking everybody.
We had Lev Shuno skating with us last year.
Yeah, Lev, beauty. I love him, bro.
Yeah,
and they're not necessarily working with the team sport psychs, but they have their own mental fucking guy.
Well, if you can get that edge in everything that you do, 100%. And nowadays, you know how the competition, the level has been grown so much.
Yeah.
People like you come in, and this is why I'm so interested, working with the young players, especially you coming in with your expertise. I believe that something along the lines, for instance, because back in the day, there's also 2 types of ways. Like, I'm a firm believer, there's one guys that do not give a fuck about anything.
Great, love that.
And
love
they just all of a sudden, like you talk about, and there's guys who have that, God-given ability to think. But the problem is they come with so much overthinking, and now all of a sudden you're too smart for your own good.
That was me.
Oh yeah. I know it's exactly what you mean. To me, it was more like the fact that, you see, knowing where you played, I personally never had that technical ability. There's certain factors, but still, to me, it was like, hey, there's guys who are just that good. But then again, where we going with this is the fact that, for instance, let's get a little more raw, right?
Sure.
Everybody wants to play the show. Everybody wants to make it to the NHL. And now when you hear this stuff about, like, hey, the parents, right? Again, I always, our whole point is the fact that this sport, it's hockey, it's basketball, it's tennis, it's golfing, whatever you do, this is the instrument that will bring you, again, the life, the success, the money, beautiful woman, everything. This is it, the connections. Because, again, how many, stats, 85% of the Fortune 500 CEOs all played college sports. All of them.
Really?
All of them. 80 or 85% CEOs, they all played college sports, because same thing with you. Hockey is just an instrument. Let's not forget, this is just excuse my beautiful Latvian language, it's just a fucking game.
Bro.
This is just the bread to the great Roman Colosseum, the circus, as we go. So, for instance, there's also, I see sometimes guys like, okay, hockey is life. Like, again.
Dude, that is the worst. I was thinking about that. I don't mean to cut you off, but that is the worst fucking programming you could be doing. And I was all over like t-shirts, that. Hockey equals life. Bro, do you understand how many people you fucking programmed and fucked because of that?
No, it's 100%.
Oh my God,
and
bro.
that goes to every sport because that's all your identity is this fucking game. And let's be real again. It's just a game. Because let's be real. You take hockey so seriously. Yeah, it's fun.
It doesn't help you.
It doesn't help you. But what about the people who do biathlon? People who do, you know what biathlon is?
What is biathlon?
You never heard of biathlon?
Bowflex, bro?
Biathlon is, since you play in Belarus, right? Biathlon is one of these things where you ski and you shoot.
Oh, that's sick.
Biathlon,
That's
right?
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
But then again, there's also curling. There's also, whatever you want to call is hockey is there because there is a marketing value to it. But in the end, it's just another sport like everything else. Why do people who do whatever they do darts or whatever it is, why don't they make $60 million a year, right? Whatever. The key is we all hooked up on the solution that hockey, this is it. This is gonna solve your problems.
It's a great sport. It's like
amazing.
it's the top, probably the best sport.
It's for us because we're both hockey players. I love
sport.
it. I love it. And also, boxing and hockey is the two hardest sports by ESPN ratings. Have you
Really?
You see, boxing and hockey has been considered the two hardest sports because again, this was I don't know who did the actual metrics, but
Pulling out all the fucking stats,
yeah, no,
dude.
this is it. This is you gotta respect because hockey again is like there's everything that there is, but hockey again is just an instrument because let's be real, how long is the career? NHL average career is 3 years. 3 years. Every year 220 players get drafted. Out of all these players, maybe 30 will see one NHL game.
You're kidding.
Yeah, 30 maybe max. 30 will see NHL game. 30% of them. Now going back to the round of stats, like you are a specific individual. You made it to USHL. You made it to the NCAA. And these guys, even who make it, you understand that only 17 or 18% of all NHL players play 5 or more years. Only like one out of 5 people make it. And this illusion that, again, I'm going to make the NHL. So what? How many guys you know that played in the show? Hey, it's my boy over here, Joey. You played NHL? You played 2 games? Okay, great. So now the fuck you going to do?
What are you
yeah, what are you going to do now? What is this now? Because you had all your life as this. Because that's what we're trying to do nowadays is hockey is something that, let's say, you and me. We can go to every single city in the world, no matter Dubai, Minsk, Riga, Moscow, Miami, New York, LA, and we come in, we put our bag down, and you just made 20 new contacts.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's your thing, and hockey is something that is, but once people go into this too much, and again, some people actually live it, but you see how they hockey, and I see the most guys who make it, let's be real, they have that tunnel vision.
You have to have. Okay,
you
listen.
have to have it, right?
You have to have it for a certain spurt.
Right.
Like there's a spurt of making that tunnel vision.
Right.
And I think one of my demises on my trajectory that caused a little bit of
demises. You're the D1 guy. You're one of the
demise of like
best players in Belarus at the moment and the next KHL star.
Listen, Matt, because I had a lot of things going for me my first year at Ohio State. Right. I had, I was invited to another camp with the Kings, right? It was COVID year, so that got canceled. So I was like, BU really put me back when I was 19, and I got obviously released from BU, and I went to USHL, ripped it up. So I thought when I was at BU as a 19-year-old, just turning 19, I was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, Mark, like but NHL.
But that is again amazing stats. How many guys make BU at 19?
No, not many.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't even know, bro. I manifested that shit, honestly. Yeah. Like, I really, manifesting is real. Like, that's another part of the mental game. That there is a tunnel vision, but there's a game to manifesting things in your life. Like, right. you're manifesting 24/7. This is going back to the idea of the thoughts. Right. Like, your thoughts, if you're not standing of exactly every thought, you're manifesting from every single thought.
Everything.
Every single. Yeah. So, you have to know how to manage your mind, manage your heart, manage your emotions. You need to have balance in every part of yourself because if not, you might manifest the wrong thing you don't want, right? And there's obviously that's the whole thing. It's like, how do you get what you want out of your life? How do you achieve your dream life? How do you do that? That's what I was naturally doing as a kid, right? Because I detached, because I learned the law of detachment so well. Right, but then shit got real, and now I get to BU, and the next goal is NHL. Now I'm attaching myself back to NHL, right? And then it's causing so much issues, so much adversity, and then bam. So then I built myself back up to Ohio State 2 years later. Yeah. Things are going well, right? And then bam, because a little bit of that lack of tunnel vision, right? I mean, honestly, looking back, it was almost like too much tunnel vision. It was like I was like so laser focused on the goddamn goal, right? So there's a balance in everything. It's like you have to have the vision, right? But you can't need it. You can't want it so much that you're constricting it. And that's what many times in my life, that's what God taught me. It was like, listen, you cannot hold on to this so much. And where is your priority? It's not in me. Motherfucker. He's like, motherfucker, it's not in me. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. And it's like, bam, you get hit so hard every single time.
And that is the problem where so many guys start going into the deep down rabbit holes of alcohol, of drugs, everything else, because they know everything about it, too laser focused, and they lost that beautiful thing of night and day, the balance. And now I'm sure you can elaborate on this one, as you see so many guys that actually they become such talents, but other than hockey, they have no skills with the girls. They have no social skills with the guys. They're just these straight up weirdos who make it. We know all these guys, how they work, how they operate, and it's good. But then again, let's be real. What if you were a jockey? What if you were playing, table tennis? There's so much like hockey. You got lucky that you get this financial, currency laid upon you, and life is beautiful. But sometimes you see these guys, they're so empty inside because there was nothing there. That's why the new model of this world is, again, this is an instrument. This is something that will help you become free.
Something everybody just wants to be free in this life.
Oh yeah, free, exactly. And we talked about it.
Because think about you get to the NHL, like you get to play hockey the rest of your life. Let's say you make $5 million playing in the NHL, or 5 or 10, right? Like that's not going to last you. That's not even going to last you your whole life, man. Like,
let me ask you this before we continue. Hold on that thought, but before we go, which said what Mark just said. Let's say you make $10 million. The reality is this. Let's say you had one of the clients of mine. They signed their first contract in Buffalo Sabres, right? And the contract involved $1 million and $50,000, right?
Right.
And that was
entry level?
That was one of the best entry levels back then, right?
Yeah.
But still.
With a good bonus.
Signing bonus.
100K.
Yeah.
Which is not even that much in sports.
But it was 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
The key what I'm making is this. We talk about all these players who make these millions. And hockey players, basketball players. Hockey, let's say, number 5 sport, right? Let's say NASCAR guys make money. Like, let's say fighters. Fighters make the biggest bucks based on the actual, the fight, for instance. But the story goes like this. You keep 30% at best on $1. There's NHL taxes. There's NHL, arbitration. There's NHL, like let's say this league work with, this called the so-called league escrow. If the league work with losses, you pay that. You pay agents 3, 5, 7, sometimes even 10%. You pay the insurances, everything else, all left aside.
And your whole lifestyle.
And your lifestyle. But there's also the thing that people come in. There's also, let's say, Florida is amazing. Tampa, Florida, there's no state tax, right? But let's say if you play New York. New York has a luxury tax if you make more than 300 or 280 or 350. So in the end, you are left with 30% on $1. And let's say you had a 2-year career. You just made, hey, mom, I made $2 million. No, you made 600K. And now you have to live with that all your fucking life. Okay.
You can't.
And then you bought a new, I'm going to buy a new Bentley, sir. Okay, there you go. Again, and not everybody pay taxes on that. Now you get hit up. That's why there's a book called $1 Million Slaves, I think that's a 10-year-old book or maybe more. And back then the stats were 85% of the people, again, we go on stats, went broke in the 5 years after their career. Same goal with our friend Kasparaitis. He's a legend. Love him, respect. You gotta praise him for what's been true. But again, he had 3 wives, 6 kids, whatever. And if somebody like that, he's a legend, made over $50 million. But all of a sudden, you start paying, the alimony, child supports. That's why all these guys get locked in, because in the end, you made the money. But now all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of you and this. And you're not left with anything. And the money goes fast. So going back to that, let's say you talked about money. You talked about money and the players who make it. Okay, they made the money. Now what the fuck you do? You made the money. Everything is great. But you're still empty inside. You're like, okay, you made the money, and so what? How much is that gonna last you? Career ended right now. How many guys we know? We just know the late Claude Lemieux. You think there's a theory about like how he went out in the third, like he went out in the game 3. We came with the Olympic. The torch, and maybe again he sees something, but we don't talk about the reality. When the game ends, because again, let's be real. Most guys, especially I don't know how it was in Florida, but let's say ex-Soviet Union, Belarus, all these let's say Bourrés, that generation, they were all kids. They wake up. Mom takes you to practice. Then team boss everything. You don't worry about shit. Then you go to the next level. The sports schools. That was in Soviet Union, where everything's okay. They take care of everything. Okay, now you made the NHL. Sean Avery talks about it. Now you fly private jets. Now you have everything. You don't care about nothing. You have, like you said, you have people all over you. You don't care about anything. And now all of a sudden, it all ends. Now what? You were just flying jets. You were in the Madison Square Garden. And all of a sudden, you're nobody. Because let's be real, only legends get remembered. Who gives a fuck? I won the cup with Chicago Blackhawks in 2012.
Dude, I don't even know who you are.
Who you are? Kane, Toes, Duncan Keith, who else was there?
There's actually so many of those guys. People are like, work out with this guy.
Exactly.
Stanley Cup champion. I'm like, what does he do now? Oh, yeah, he's a strength trainer.
And again, all respect
all
to him.
Respect,
He
bro.
sells cars now. He's a coach now. There's so many NHL coaches. Like, I know right now, we work with a lot of U16 teams. There's a lot of these academies. And you can even, it's hard to find a team where, hey, used to be like, oh, my God, you played in NHL? And nowadays, these guys are like, oh, yeah, it's like, he's a third assistant coach. Right? He played 2 seasons in NHL. And I know guys like that. And again, all respect to them. But the question is this. And most of these guys, they train these kids. They're like, hey.
Do you think they're doing it because they're like I think about later in my career, I want to maybe coach a little bit, maybe coach my kid or coach something, but are they doing it because they want to and they're giving back to the game, or because they have to?
This is my next point. You are one of these individuals where you have that aura of charisma, where you will never be lost. Like, you play pro now, I think we're going to get you to KHL in the next 16 months.
We'll see.
No, 100%.
We'll see,
100%. Come on, everybody, with that title outfit. We're going to make it happen. But most of these guys, I always say, don't marry the game if you don't love her. And so many guys, they do coaching. And listen, they can be mad. We have these people, I know them personally. Used to be so many teachers back in the day, but now they're coaches. And they're doing this because what else you going to do? What else you know how to do? Like you said, there was no, okay, you play D1. How much do you actually remember from the things you actually did in college?
Like school or
school?
Stuff?
How much school do you actually learn? From
nothing. I did a business.
Exactly.
I did a business. Listen, I went to Sacred Heart and did my master's.
Yeah.
I didn't finish the master's. You want to know why? Because I was building an entire infrastructure of education. I was building Flow State University in the background. I was actually making the business. I was actually making the platform that every single player can use for off-ice training, on-ice training, but mainly the mindset, the hypnosis, the reprogramming, the meditations. I was building all of that, and my teammates were like, hey, we got to go to class. We have this presentation. I would just show up and do the presentation, right? Just like off the top, right? But you learn, everybody knows this. You actually get a job out of college. You go to Morgan Stanley, you do this. You get a manager here, marketing here. You relearn everything. They teach you, they train you for 3 months. What do you actually learn in college?
Correct. Most of these guys, you look into their eyes, it's almost like, they have this, there's not a lot of hope left. Because most of these guys, you have this look, and we deal with coaches all the time. That's why we have to very carefully pick the people you work with. And this comes back to the thing you said about, the energetic level. There's guys who love the game, and guys who are like, oh, yeah, he played NHL, but it's almost like, Kenny Powers. The same thing where you just kind of like, you went eastbound and down, and you were, I guess, you just do it because what else you going to do? And this is a sad thing to watch. So many guys, that's why they started drinking alcohol. It's coping mechanism. Cope. They don't know nothing else. Even, let's say, even be real, even finding the right partner, they never had the chance to do it because everything was so easy and they had the money, they were famous, and now nothing is there. That's why we work on the new level of exposure, new level of people like you who learn them to understand the thing, because hockey, boxing, everything is so finite. let's be real. By the new standards, let's be real. We have to live to 100 years, right? We have to make 100 years. For real, for instance. We will hope we will do it. Let's say, yeah. But hockey is what? From 20? Let's say you got to college 22 right nowadays. 35?
Max.
40? Max. Yeah, okay, there's joggers, all that stuff. Great. But then what? You just did 30% of your life. Maybe less.
Then you got to figure out what you actually love to do. Who are you?
Because you live in this illusion of what is hockey's life. And most of these guys, they'll play, they train, they do everything. And you look at them, it's like, and it's even worse problem. There's guys who lie to themselves that they love the game when they don't. They just like, again, at 16, 17, 18, how many talents were there? Like, you met them all the time who were like, hey, for instance, me, myself, at one point I realized, hey, I don't love this game like I have to be. I love the girls that come with it. I love the fame. I love the certain kind of money. I'm a hockey player.
Yeah, it's an identity.
Exactly, because, he's a hockey player. But then again, once you meet people on a new level, you understand, like, what the fuck is a hockey player? It's almost like a label. Okay, you skate around, you chase the puck, and like, oh, great. He's just so special because there's so much money and it's hard. But let's be real.
Respect.
You get the respect, but what is a hockey player? You're just like a play. It's a play. You're like a children. You play around it. It all came to action in like early 20th century. Before that, like, who played sports? Kids maybe played sports, but now the money come in. And what you said is these guys are so lost in this generation about hockey doesn't work out. Then what? And it's a tragic life because they never knew anything else. That's why you come in with the program understanding. And we believe that we build, let's say, for instance, I'm super excited to work with you for next season for my players because they need to understand hockey is their instrument. Let's say this, for instance, I teach this to a lot of guys and my own clients, for instance. They come in, they play hockey, great. If they make it, if not, hey, even if you want to become a GM, you want to become a coach, by going through all this process, you learn all these things. It's like kids, like little wolves. They learn this little thing called the rules, how the boys operate. Sports is necessary, like the most.
It is.
It's such a mandatory thing. We have a lot of single moms as clients in my company where they understand the value of what we provide, because if the child is not exposed to the real life stress, fights, in a way, disrespect, conflicts, you will give all that out one day when it becomes inevitable. Like, let's say you've seen it all the time where these guys, they never been in a fight and they become almost like we're kids, like we fought like 6 times a day. You had to do it. Like, hey, I was 8 years old and my mother decided to send me to school when I was 6 years old, and it was the smartest decision because we had a gentleman who was there who didn't finish the first grade 3 years and he was like 9. And you get destroyed. You get your shoes taken, your hat taken.
Yeah,
back then, and you call the fag too on the same thing, all on the same day. And this is something that you have to go through. But there's also people who are like, oh no, I would never. And they grow up to become these, almost like pacifist males that are the nice guys. But,
yeah.
But there's a saying, like Jordan Peterson, I heard this one time. He said, a weak man is not a good man because he has no choice. The real deal is society. Let's say again, we go a little more abstract here, right? Hockey again. What you just said, it's not about hockey. You're just a hockey player.
Yeah.
But what you just said, you just gave 3 other worlds to this statement because again, a good man is a man who has the ability to cause damage, to be strong, to do the things you are, and to choose to be good. But let's again, if the shit goes down,
bro,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Bro, the issue is, I think for most people, this goes into like shadow psychology, where you cannot
explain to people what is shadow psychology.
The shadow is basically like I was just talking to a client today. Like basically, you can go your whole life, right, and you want to go talk to that girl. Or somebody called you a fag and you didn't say anything in that moment.
Right, and it still keeps in you.
Or like these things that you want to stand up for yourself, you want to say something, but society or something puts on you of like, no, you can't do that, right? So over time you do that, you're creating a deep, dark shadow.
Right.
right?
Now all of a sudden that alter ego comes out in a way, right?
Right, in a sense, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's correlated like that. That's why, you know, people when they like NHLers or high-end athletes, when they lock in,
Yeah.
they're using part of that shadow. They're integrating that shadow into their self, into their alter ego.
In a way, that negativity gets through. That's Kobe Bryant. I heard about.
Yeah,
it.
like the Mamba mentality. But
yeah.
but really, at the core, like that's why, like we also do alter ego stuff, where we're not just giving you like, hey, like you're gonna be Batman today, you're gonna use like this, that. No, like we're
Right.
crafting an alter ego that stems from the soul, from the psyche,
Yeah.
right? An alter ego, people think it's fake, like Black Mamba for Kobe, but no, internally in Kobe's
That's
soul,
the real deal.
that was the dark side of him.
Correct.
Right, so going back to the idea of, and he was using that to step on the court and be a fucking savage, right? So going back to the whole idea of the shadow and alter ego, like you said, people act good, but you actually can't choose to be good if you don't know you're evil, if you don't know you're dark.
Correct.
So if you never go down to the depths of who the fuck you are, because we are fucked up people. Like some of us are like, there is deep dark stuff about us. If you don't uncover that and put that to some part in your life, like sport or something else, right? Guess what? You don't get to choose to be good.
Yeah.
And then that thing runs your show the rest of your life.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah. And parents need to understand this, what you just said again. It gets to run who you are because sports is the best way to get it out and to understand who you are. It's a great mirror. But there's
It's a mirror.
Because always, these, in a way, goody nice guys, you see them a lot in the corporate world. I've seen it all the time. Let's say I have a friend of mine, like she's a female psychologist, woman psychologist, I guess a good better way to say it. She saw that most of these people, they live so much by the world, like super nice guys. They are the ones who watch the most, again, hardcore pornography, the ones who have the deepest, darkest thoughts, and they're like, hey, how you doing today?
Putting a mask on.
And then one day it just goes out, and it goes out all the way. Because I believe, again, I actually never thought about it once you said it now. It's like why people need sports, especially at a young age, whatever it is. Let's say you didn't have a father figure. Let's say you had a little bit of messed up childhood. You had all these problems, whatever it is. Sports is the one thing where you actually get to know yourself to a level, and you get to know other people. It's the most healthy possible way to.
It's like real.
It's real. It's real. Of course.
Everything, because you get to school. You get to college. You have to obviously be respectful. There's rules. There's you have to, and that goes back to, if we're going abstract, that goes to the idea of Timmy has to graduate high school. He has to go to college. He has to get a job. He has to work a 9 to 5. He has to get a mortgage at 27. He has to marry at 29.
He has to make kids by 29.
Right. And then what happens?
And then the kids come and they're all of a sudden like this. Then turns out Timmy at 38 either comes out of closet or finds a new little 18-year-old that tells him she loves him.
Right.
And you don't even know still who you are.
Right.
But you took that advantage. Again, sports, it's our instrument. I'm glad sports brought us so much beautiful things.
Yeah.
It's something it is, but it's
a lot of pain too.
Pain, but you can't.
Pain is good.
Pain is good. It's the best thing that there is. It's real, because even nowadays, let's say I come from, even you were born in Belarus, right? But the big thing I see around regarding, for instance, the Western society, right? And again, we see a lot of these instances where you have to be very careful what you say. Right?
Yes.
In a way. And the PC culture is real. And I noticed
PC culture,
no. But in a way, I noticed this. The most realest people you ever meet are the ones who are not afraid to say things. But I've noticed so many people that are like, oh my, you can't say that. Those people are the most fucked up individuals because they're suppressing that thing. You can't. They get almost like this. You know how locker rooms are, and I believe locker room is almost like the temple for meditation for men.
Bro, if people knew what happened in a hockey locker room,
exactly,
bro.
No. But it's like this. You know what I'm talking about. But it's something that once you go hockey, boxing, basketball, whatever, that's when you become real. That's when it's you know what I've noticed this, and I've told this to a lot of people as well. You can be I've been in locker rooms with billionaires, actual billionaires. People who had the net worth of this, people with yachts, people with, everything you can possibly finish in this world. People who are superstars, famous people, go to LA, actors, People who are, there's guys who drive trucks, guys who are janitors. And once you go in the locker room, whatever it is,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't fucking matter who you are. Oh, I don't, like, listen, this is the most realest place, the real. And again, nobody cares what kind of woman you have, anything. It's all real down there. It's how you are, your skill as a man. And this is refreshing to see. There's no mask. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares what you have. We go out there and people get admired.
On the ice, it doesn't
matter. You can be a head center. It's just the way it is. You can't do this. You can't have whatever it is, and it humbles us. And also, and again, hockey is very similar. It's so hard. Boxing as well. Once you go in the boxing ring, you see these people like, oh my God, there's the biggest ego. Okay, let's see you doing 3 minutes in regular sparring.
Yeah,
like,
cooked, bro.
No, but the same thing with hockey shit. Go out there. Now you have to skate. You have to handle the puck. You have to look. You have to think, and you have to be aware if you're gonna get.
It's very similar to life.
Oh my God, it's like life. Yes, and then
it's so chaotic too.
100%.
But don't you agree that hockey is like it is chaotic, but it's like nowadays, like you're in the whole advising business and like management business and everything, like not just advising, obviously, but like it's there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of lowness. There's a lot of lowness associated with the sport.
So much loneliness. It's crazy.
No, not loneliness. Low, like just low.
And loneliness.
Low, like it's just low. It's just low. Like
what do you mean by low? What do you mean by low? I know there's
like it's a fucked up sport. Like when you think about it, like there's people like trying to kill you, right? And there's a lot of fear involved in terms of lineup, getting points, doing all like it's just like I know it's like all other sports are like that, but I just feel like hockey, especially the NAL, like lower level leagues, tier 3, even AAA teams. Like, I just don't think there's a lot of like really great development these days. I just think it's a lot of like, people trying to get to the next level.
Listen, what you just said perfectly explains everything. Because, for instance, like 5 years ago, there's this thing called, again, I don't want to use the word Soviet Union, but again, the biggest thing with these people are, they have the bases. You come to, you made Traktor, Chelyabinsk, you made Riga, Dynamo, whatever. The best guys get called to Moscow, for instance, right? They go to CSKA. Moscow has a base. Kasparadis played there. Our Latvian players, we had like Karsums, Daugovins, these Latvian legends, and they played NHL. And they went at early age to these academies, right? And they get offered everything is there on the spot. And now the U.S. model started creating it. Like Shattuck, right? Shattuck, the way I said it. I also say Target, But the key is they become big. And nowadays, let's say like this is Seacoast Academies. You go there, and now there used to be things that cost maybe $20,000. Now they cost $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And I see how. Listen, everybody has to make money, but.
Are you cool with do you with your guys? I mean, I'm sure
none of my guys will ever pay more than $50,000. There's guys who pay 50, but they go to the best schools. They're not necessarily the best individuals, right? But they understand. Listen, I'm not gonna be an NHL guy. I love hockey. I love discipline because if I don't listen, let's be real. Nowadays, these guys need us.
But the top guys, would you say the top guys are still like they're getting their ins?
But it's almost like everywhere else. Let's say if you go to KHL, like first two guys in KHL, NHL, they will make millions.
Yeah.
And the third, fourth line will like basically make ads to them. They play for $750. Same goes with like fourth line. Nowadays, you go to these academies, I don't want to name names, but there's my clients who play with zero. Like, listen, they're that good. They're that good because I know we put investment in them, right? We get them the right people around them. We're going to make it happen. Let's say you work, we get a player. He's that good. We invest our times. It's going to be good in the end. But there's guys who they're never going to be hockey players.
Right.
And they don't want to be hockey players. But they want to be in a good academy. They want to play for a good team. They play four line. They pay the money, but nowadays there's people who pay $80,000-$90,000.
It's crazy, dude. It's honestly like heart wrenching when I hear it on calls.
But again, it's something like this. It's everybody has their spot. How much does the future of your children cost? I believe that by doing all this, The biggest problems start from the kids. All the drug addictions. Again, depression starts from lack of adversity. If they don't have a discipline at early age, you know how you must know these guys. The point is these players who go to these schools, they need to understand that, like, again, if they don't put their time and effort in developing, like, hockey players, basketball, then all the bullshit starts. The drugs, the girls, all that stuff. That's why they need it, 100%.
I mean, what do they say? Like, chicks and beers and hockey careers.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. This is exactly what it is. But
these people are paying $50,000+ at the age of 15 all the way to 18, and they're investing nothing to anything else. They're just like, oh, my son's going to academy for $60,000.
Correct.
He's good. Like, he's good. Like, people end up wasting $250,000.
That's why they work with people, like, let's say my clients, they come to us because, of course, it costs. It's an investment.
Yeah.
But there's so many investments where there's people who are teachers. There's so many characters that I would never, ever send my guys to because we know them. Nowadays, the biggest aspect of this advisory is actual placement. It used to be who you know. It used to be like, oh, I get this phone number. But nowadays, you have AI.
You can just call someone.
You have my hockey rankings. You have elite prospects. You can get to anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Sure. But now that actual advisory, the placement, we give it for free. Please. Because like, hey, it's not a problem. But the big thing is, how do you know this is going to be the right thing for you? How do you know it's going to be the actual coach to play for? What's the development? What are you going after? And this is where the parents need people like us. The actual advisory, the placement, and now once you play for the team. Now what? There's so much competition nowadays that if you actually want to make this happen, you need more. And this is the reality of it. And the way I see it is, you made a beautiful point about, like, hey, what is there? What else is there other than the hockey? They don't have anything. That's why they need to understand why they're doing this, because you can spend.
They need a system.
They need a system.
System. And this is the system, because the system has worked.
Correct.
For all of my guys, all of your guys, like 150+ guys I've worked with the last 3 years. Guys like Noah Powell, Aaron Schwartz, like these guys are getting NHL draft. Like, these guys are getting drafted, right? But the biggest, the thing I wish, I'll be straight up with you, is like I said, when I work with a top end guy who they snap into reality, they're like, a guy like Noah Powell, like, he realized, like, bro, I'm doing well, but like, I'm not hitting my potential. Like, I'm not dominating every other game, or I'm not dominating every single game for at least a period. Because like, you can have like a period where you're doing well, flow state, but you're not getting into that, what I call it, zone 4.
Right.
You're not getting into that alter ego zone 4 where you're fucking dominating, you're being a dog, you're demanding the pill, you're barking at people, you don't care, right? That's the alter ego. People realize too late that they're not getting into that zone properly. But these guys, these high-end guys who snap into awareness, they're like, oh, I should work on this, because if I do, oh my God, I'm already at the 5%, but this will get me to the 1%. Holy shit. But then it's the guy who's like already dealing with adversity. They're like, oh yeah, like now I'm going to work with a mental sports psych or a holistic mindset, a mindset specialist like me after a year of adversity, when they're like forced to do it, right? You're forced to do it. They're not doing it. That's where it goes back to, like, some of these guys' egos are so high. I get it. I love it. You need to have an ego on the
100%.
ice, but they're getting into this game too late.
1000%. And now most of these guys, which you see when they actually, like, for instance, one of my guys he had amazing year this year. He was playing juniors, and people who come to see him,
Where?
He was one of the Nal guys.
Nal guys, yeah.
His name is Mikhail Cherepano.
Okay.
He's one of those guys who played Nal. He's in 2008, and he got a commitment straight to D1. And I remember, like, there were teams that were actually talking to him, right? He had amazing interviews with Detroit, Dallas. And it's a big chance he may get drafted this year, but if not, it's next year, right? I'm not worried about that. But I had the chance, to see the new updated, scouting structures. And when they come nowadays, they come here and they watch, let's say we're at the game and they were supposed to meet the scouts, and the scouts come, let's say game starts at 7:30. He's like, I'll be there 5:30. I'm like, 5:30? Game's 7:30. No. We want to see the outside aspects, how they act, how they react, all these little things that come. The training, they warm ups, everything that's included in this.
Really?
Oh man, they come 2 hours before. Let's say they do a little, like what do you call that when you play soccer,
Yeah, sewer.
Yeah, exactly. So when you start doing that, all of a sudden they come and watch these little things because again, there's so many.
Are you serious?
2 hours. I'm not gonna name names, but somebody from a very red and white organization from Michigan, they came to watch him and they were straight up. I'm gonna watch him. How is they acting? How they do it? Because guys who come in, if your body language is fucked, you're never gonna see the ice. Guys who, let's say, you were always probably the power play guy, right?
Yeah.
You were one of those guys, and then all of a sudden, coach is like, "This is not your game." They sit you down. And they put in some fourth line guy in your spot, and you're like this. But the new key is like you gotta be, you gotta be happy about him. You have to be the team. All this, there's so much stuff that goes into it, and there's guys that need to understand. If you seriously want to get the best out of your investment, then it is inevitable. You have to get people to work with you, mental mindset, management, everything. Because nowadays the biggest problem is, as you know, even nowadays, back in the day, the parents are somebody, when you look at them, it's like the biggest enemies. Let's say if the father is causing problems, right? It's almost like, I see this all the time, and even when I was coaching, you see these parents who are like, hey, father constantly, there's two type of guys. First, second line guys who are amazing what they do, everybody's happy. And there's the third and fourth line, it's always conspiracy. The coach is terrible.
Victim mindset.
The guys are terrible who I play with. You play with them. It's like this. Always the victims. And there's the first and two lines. Okay. There's some guys who are like really good. They're like, oh yeah, this team is bad for me. They go on. But like, come on. They're like 5% of everything. And there's guys who are just enough good. Like first, second line, everything's great. Parents are great. But the third or fourth liners, coach constantly talking shit. And if the kid picks it up, he brings it to the team, everything, it doesn't work. So the parents, let's get raw and real again. We've seen so many parents that like, hey, it's just a game. The smartest parents, coaches, I currently have I would say #1 draft pick in boxing. Boxer, he went everything in World Junior Olympics, World Junior Championships, Eurasian Games, Name's Alexei Dronov. He's a boxer.
Dronov. That's a good name.
Yeah, that's a real deal. That's a real deal. And his father is in the Soviet Union. He was one of the most renowned fighters. And nowadays he's a very great coach. And he's one of those people who are like, hey, it's like if you had a son and you sent your son to skate with whatever, Shattuck, you scan him with Little Caesars, you send him to scan with whatever, Academy, Boston, whatever, Junior Bruins. And hockey, and you're like, hey, guys, do your thing. Because you understand the game. The smartest parents are the ones who stand, hey, take my son. I know maybe hockey better than you, but go do it. I'm not going to start nothing about it. Go try to do it, and those are the smartest guys. But there's so many people that never done sports in their lives. They actually go there, and all of a sudden they look at it. It's just like, you never did a sport in your life. You just had to plan.
They're trying to coach their kids
exactly.
too.
They try to compensate what they didn't do, and it's like
that is an issue.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's a very big. I think what you said is both sides. There's
also those guys who are like, no, I know what you mean.
What?
But the ones who are like played and they think they know it all.
No, I feel like there's sometimes the dads who went to the NHL, right, legends,
right,
their kids never make it.
Correct.
Why don't they make it? Because
I thought about it too. Actually.
You know what I mean? The kids don't make it often. I think
except Kachucks.
Kachucks, yeah.
Brett Hall was another thing, but let's say Ray Bork.
Yeah.
Ray Bork's sons, they never actually became those guys.
Why not? Because I think the dad probably realizes hey, I don't want my kid to suffer like I suffered,
right? And
I'm not gonna push him at all.
Right.
So if there's no pushing at all, the kid's never gonna make it. Right, but then that's also some parents in America, most parents in America.
Yeah,
it's just this side, this polarity.
Right.
This polarity is a parent who played a little bit of hockey, not crazy high level. They're, trying to coach their kid up. They're being super lenient internally. They really want him to do well. They want him to play free, but they're being super lenient on the outside. Like, hey, you do your thing, do this for you, and the kid there is just so many mental issues.
Oh,
right. And then the other side, right? The other side, the parent is like micromanaging everything. They're reaming the kid. They're screaming. There's always fights at home, right? You're always wondering,
Correct.
why the
In
fuck
the
is
car.
why is my kid not playing? And you're like, you should have done that. You should have done this. That's actually like the worst thing you could probably do for your
and
kids.
then the coach says this, mom says this, dad said this, and you go out there and your little nervous system is more than messed up.
Shambles.
That's why
bro.
they need people like us.
Yeah, but the other thing is like, you know, the kids don't know what the hell's going on. So they're just like, they're listening to their parents. They're like, yeah, I got to work harder. I got to do this. I have to fucking be meaner, but they can't get it out. There's a block, right? There's a block. And it's just like, it's a terrible cycle. And like, I think there's people out there who coach parents now too. But like, I just deal with the player. I don't like to deal with parents.
Right.
I help the player. You deal with the parent. I just deal with the player. I get the player where he needs to be. But there is a lot of education that needs to happen for parents, you know, because it's like you said, those in-betweeners, right? The in-betweener, the guy who played, you know, really high-level hockey, he knows everything about hockey, but he's coaching his son strategically, right? But he's not really going crazy hard at him, right? Where there's the guy, the dad or the mom who they never played high-level hockey, and he's trying to coach his kid on what to do. And it's like, what are we doing? Like how do you think you're gonna like relate to your son if you never played it at that level of pressure?
Correct. And nowadays, when I started coaching, it was like what, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. That's when the WhatsApp groups came into the auction.
WhatsApp groups.
When the parents are in a WhatsApp group.
Fuck.
Because remember this. There's the first line parents who have their own little 3 groups. There's the
it's a click at the parent level too, bro.
Yeah. It's like, and you know the problem is this. Everything is this. Let's say they think their son is good at 14. Now the coach is not doing something, and then do it. And the biggest thing is access to these coaches. Let's say, for instance, for me, everybody could come to me. And when I played in Finland has amazing rule. Let's say I was in the Pori Assad system. They have the Liga teams, they have Mestis teams, UA teams, and go down. If you, as a parent, want to speak with the coach, you call the office. Office takes down your message. Then we schedule a meeting, and then there's going to be HR next to us when we're going to talk.
In Finland?
In Finland is the most professional, beautiful.
Oh my God, that's elite.
You had to actually, that's elite because, nobody has access because, again, nowadays you see these parents, you know, like, listen, I don't want to call down the rabbit hole, but as you know, in Russia, Latvia, Belarus, all the Eastern European countries, right, where we had, there's such a big access to the parents' influence into the coaching mechanisms, right? Because so many coaches that are like, hey, they just want to make money. And if somebody comes in and puts on $20,000 on the table and like, hey, here's a little training camp budget for you, you know, like, okay, well, yeah. This kid who was never supposed to make top 20, he's like, oh, he can do power play today. And the same thing goes here. You notice in America, it's just more pretty packaged. It's more like coaches get their little, you know, country club access. Somebody's dad is a Honda dealer, you know. They also, it's like, you know, it's all this stuff. But in the end, these parents, it's almost like this. We are going to make it in NHL. It's like the hockey wives. Same thing again, me and our boy Darius. We were at the NHL All-Star game 2 years ago. And we went to saw it, actually. And we were sitting in the suite next to the NHL wives. And it's like, you see this and you understand, oh, no. Mark, it's not you who plays the NHL. It's we are playing it.
Yeah. There's a high divorce rate of guys after the show.
And then when she leaves, she takes everything but the kitchen sink, you know? And it's like, it's something that we see this shit all the time. And I'm like, yeah, these guys, there's so much. See, to me, it's like this. Today, we've been talking a lot. There's so much we could go into it, but it's almost like a different world, different universe. I'd say, imagine this. This is hockey. There's also boxing. There's basketball. Again, there's so many different worlds, but the symmetry is almost
it's all the same shit.
It's the same shit. Yeah. And these parents, like, let's say, hey, you try it now. You know, oh, I didn't do it. And there's so much things that are there. And the problem is these kids have so much pressure that they don't like, even if they make it, become a hockey player. That's why, again, they come to us. We provide services that will, first and foremost, understand why are you doing this. It'll make you understand who are you. It'll make you understand micromanagement is something that leave it to professionals. This is not for everybody. This is, if you think you can do it all, hey, good luck.
Yeah.
But let's say you've been through it all. You suffered. You have the credentials. That's why I'm looking forward to these people who understand how much. It's not even about where you play. It's almost like the same good old analogy where, let's say you said you went back to play, like double A. You plan to play, like, junior B, for instance.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, what the fuck does it do for you to play? Let's say you play for Shattuck. Great.
Yeah.
Number 4. You were a fourth line. You played 5 minutes. Great. I chose to play Florida Panthers down here. I played 28 minutes.
Yeah, I got better.
Yeah.
I got my game better.
Exactly.
I was a big dog.
Exactly.
Always be the big dog.
Always be the big dog, and that's why these people don't understand. It's like there's not gonna be a progress you watching the game, and all these little things people would never know. That's why smart people, they always look for outside professionals.
Yeah,
that's what I see,
dude. Yeah, because it's like all these kids, like little just breakdown of like the program that I run.
Right.
It's like the first thing is obviously awareness.
Correct.
And meditation, like realizing what the hell is going on, the nervous system, the heart, the mind.
Right.
And then we remove the fears, right? We have to remove the fear.
Right.
Like I think there's a level of playing with fear that helps you get into that fight or flight, right? But then there's that level of flow state where you're just like everything is happening naturally for you. All the training you've done your entire life, it's all coming into fruition perfectly, right? So we do that with the fear removal process where I'm going into a kid's mind, we're going together, I'm guiding them, and we're getting rid of every single fear. We're getting rid of every single insecurity, every root. We're getting to the core roots of why all these fears are stemming from, of like, oh my God, I don't want to make it. I don't want to disappoint my mom. I don't want to disappoint myself.
Right. This is amazing stuff, and I think that what you do in general, it's such a game changer for it. Doesn't matter what level it is. It's the same thing with you. It does not matter if the kid is single or he's a number 1 draft pick. Same thing for us. If clients come to us, they understand that this is something that, again, hockey is your instrument, but in the end, all these lessons, everything that you do, all the outside hockey stuff is what makes you who you become, a successful man, healthy, successful man who can provide to the society. Because again, hockey, great. And again, most of these athletes, look at these young guys, great. You played NHL, you made it, you went through all that. But if you're a piece of shit, like again, you know how many guys are like, I made NHL, great.
Yeah.
What is the exactly that you do? Okay, great. Kids come see you're good. But then again, the emptiness, the void that comes with it, that's why it's not about just hockey.
It's hard to serve the world, right? It's hard to serve people when you aren't filled internally, right? When you actually don't know what you want to do or how you want to help other people. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing on earth? Like, I don't know every answer, right? But I know that you need to, business, from a business standpoint, you create products or you create solutions to problems.
Correct.
And there's people who have problems that makes them suffer, right? And you need to find a solution and package it and make them feel like, oh, this is going to help them. And hopefully the product works, that it actually helps the people.
1000%.
Right? That's what else is there about. But like your point said, that like even if you're a AA player or a USHL player, like I'm working with an NHL guy right now, and he has the same problems as like a 16-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same shit. It's the same fear removal process, and then it's the same process of crafting that alter ego.
Yeah.
Right. To really to really find that next level gear in the game, right? Because you have the alter ego, like you actually can step into that, right, and be that savage, ruthless guy that we talked about. But then you snap it off.
But this goes the same in business. It's like this. You go
because that business is the biggest game.
Listen, and the more I meet these people, the more I understand. It's like, for instance, in general, you see there's so many, in a way, geniuses, right? And we know a lot of people who are borderline autistic. Asperger's.
They're geniuses.
They're geniuses.
Bro, they're geniuses.
But they have no scale of actual, charismatic relationships with people. They don't know what is happening. They're geniuses, but the void is so empty. That's why this life This again, it's hockey's life, yes and no. But all these little things, when sometimes you meet in a corporate level, you're like, oh my god.
So are you saying, is your point that these like people who are kind of on the spectrum, like either with ADHD or with something else like autism, like they're subtly geniuses, but are you saying they're just getting corrupted by like, these regular corporate jobs, or they're not getting the most out of them?
They're not getting the most of it because, again, there's so many lessons in this world that they have not gone through that they should have stand. Not because of, again, they would make them a better person, better husbands, better bosses, but the fact that they were so, in a way, ignorant of this occurrence of these processes that make you a human being. They lost that natural touch. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a hockey player. Sports is, in a way, listen, let's go back again. What is sports? This is, again, symbolism to the world. Boxing is like what people get attached to. Like, this is it. People went through the same things in life. You go through it because it's hard. Again, people don't know the politics you're going through hockey. But it's the same way people don't know politics if you go or whatever. If you're a stripper, you go through the politics about what do you do. If you go to the dentist, you have to go through politics. You have to go through
there's a rule.
Lawyers, everything is. And all this thing, it comes down to adversity that you have to face when you become all of these things. And again, these lessons that you provide, you just happen to have this beautiful spectrum of sports and life that you became. But there's so many people that are bright in that sense of psychology, what you have studied and learned. They're so great at any human psyche, but they don't know shit about the real brutal world, about the world, the locker rooms, about like this. When there's, again, in the locker room, somebody comes in, listen, like boys are, like you have a big fucking nose, you're weak, you're a pussy, you have like whatever it is, you're gay, whatever it is, how boys are. Yeah. They don't know nothing about it. And I believe the best of both worlds coming down when you have experience. Again, sports isn't necessary. Again, sports is what's primal left. But then there's also that, psychology, the culture we discussed. And I believe the products we are creating through our programs are the ones that will create a world a better place. Because in the end, again, let's just say this. Not necessarily the evolution favors the intelligence. You have to be brutal. You have to be cold. You have to learn all these things. Like hockey, you have to be beaten up. You got to be destructed in a way. But if you can learn both things together, again, that's life well lived. And I believe what you do, what we do, and we're going to do is going to be amazing. But there's so much of this we can talk about every single day, how people have, it's either too much there or there. And what you bring to the table, the balance is... I'm
tired, because I lived in the extreme.
Yeah,
I lived most of my life,
and I
my career.
You because you went to the D1, you played USHL. I never did.
But I had to live on that obsession scale.
Oh, yeah. That's the only way. That's how you made it.
It's the only way, but ultimately it caused a lot of fucking problems.
Correct.
So I think I used to get triggered. And in life, for the players out there, if you're getting triggered by any sort of comment, like by a player, by a coach, or by your dad, or by life, that means that is your issue.
Correct.
You're getting triggered. You have to figure out the insecurity behind that. You have to figure out why. You have to figure out why are you getting so tight, bro? Why are you getting so tight? So honestly, like, the balance is the meta. The balance is the meta because it gives you the fulfillment. Right. If you don't have the fulfillment, you're killing your soul. And I didn't live for my soul for many years.
But I think most people haven't.
No, they don't, because they don't know.
They don't know where. They just live in this mechanical thing of misery.
Dude, living for the soul is the meta. Like, if you're not doing that, if you're not playing for that little kid in you, if you're not playing for your heart, for your soul, for what that really wants, you get empty.
Yeah. And this is the same thing which you talk about Rafael Nadal. Let's be real. His dad wanted to play tennis. He's like, I love tennis. And so many people are like this. Oh, my God, he loves hockey so much. Yeah, guess what? Because you played hockey and you put it on, you program into it since he was 2 years old. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude.
Like, oh, he's just naturally a hockey player. No, he's fucking not. You programmed him to do it. But as that prize grew, that became all his identity. And he saw all the compliments for you. Dad's happy I scored 3 goals. Dad hates me. I didn't score 3 goals. And now all of a sudden,
cooked.
You cooked. That's what it is. And you live this life because, again, you became this reality, what you just said. Yeah.
Dude, I could go so deep into that, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I realized recently that like, bro, do I actually love hockey? And like I'm gonna go somewhere with this. Like,
I know exactly what you're
do
gonna
I
say.
actually love
Yeah.
this sport? Because I was thinking like, I was placed into it. I got all the training. I did
Yep.
everything. Right. My like parents are like, go do this, go do that, go do that.
Yeah.
Right. At what point did I actually like, was it for me? Right. So that when I got past that of like realizing like, oh shit, like maybe there's a chance that I didn't really love hockey for those reasons, then a new light opened. Then a new light,
yeah.
once I got real with myself of like, bro, do I actually love this shit? Then the real light came out.
Right,
The real
right.
love came out, right? The real part of the heart, the soul that really drives you and brings you passion, right? But a lot of people, bro, a lot of people are just fake as fuck. They're not, you're not, like most people can't look in the mirror and just like look at themselves, right? You're fake, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like, I don't know. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. You have to know who you are, and that's the hardest part.
Like what we discussed right now. Let's finish on a good, little, beautiful note.
Yeah.
It's
The soul.
It's the fact is the soul, and so many people they live this life, and I understood it for me as well when I realized they are motivated by the structure of the society, how it should be. And most guys, and I always thought about it, the guys who make it, they have the tunnel vision. But the most guys, let's be real, they become who they are because, for instance, like we know athletes, Sergey knows athletes, athletes who are like Crosby. I remember like what about, I don't know, 6 years ago, I had a chance. I went to Pittsburgh and I was working with the Pittsburgh Hockey Academy, right? The Pittsburgh Penguins, U16s, right?
Yeah. It's a good one.
And I saw the Panthers just finished Penguins just finished training. And Crosby, everybody went home, and Crosby was watching a girls' high school game, just analyzing, just looking at it.
You're kidding.
That's the thing about these guys. They live, they love it.
And he probably loves it.
They love it, and it's all they have, and it's good. But these are such a small percentage. Most people, they lie to themselves. And if you don't love it, don't marry that little thing. Period. But take the best out of it. But there's so much stuff that how many guys actually like love hockey? I know back in the day, people used to be more knowledgeable, be more interesting. They used to love hockey because there was less entertainment. Now you have your little cell phone, and
Dude, yeah.
nowadays there's so many other things than hockey, but that hockey still can bring you. But if you actually bought that life, they need specialists who will put you in the right path. And hey, how much does the future of your children cost?
Leave it at that, man. Yeah.
Anyways, hey, it's been a pleasure, Marky.
Thanks for
We're
having
gonna
me.
play hockey soon, and
Yeah.
we'll be back here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Cheremeta,
Thanks for
one of
having
my
me.
favorite hockey players. Obviously, one of the most, I would say, eccentric intellects I met in a hockey game, and this is no joke.
Thank
Because
you.
again, my boy comes out, with a little Rollies, Mercedes S63.
No.
That bro thing in it,
Yeah,
but there's such a deeper level to this little consciousness. So it was very interesting, man. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
God bless.
We got it.